From ag-related automation to beautiful natural resources, we're committed to advancing you and putting the region on the map. GreenSeam is here to shape the future of agricultural, business, and communities where fertile land meets technology and people come together to feed the world. We are GreenSeam. All right, well, welcome back to the GreenSeam podcast, and today we are here with Mr. Kyle, the grain master. He works over at a little place, big place. How many employees you guys got?
We are up to 4, 5. We've got about 7 in Hope.
And over at Crystal Valley Co-op, right?
Crystal Valley, total, we're 230 maybe.
So this is still a pretty big operation as far as Midwest businesses go.
Right.
Saying the average Midwest small business is what, 30 people?
Mm-hmm.
That's a typical small business. All right. So what we want to do today is we want to spend some time talking specifically about what you're doing on a day-to-day basis, because there's a lot of strategy that goes along with this. So with no further ado, explain what you're doing on a tip. Now, there's no such thing as a typical day, but if you were to average them all out, what are we doing on an average day?
Right. So a lot of it depends on the time of year, but typical day is coming in, a ton of emails about what's going on in the markets. Is, you want to be as fluent as you can in what's going on with the markets. So just reading market commentary, seeing what happened overnight, and things like crop condition, what exports, how much are other countries buying, just kind of keeping up on that, and gives you a handle of what's going on with the markets. Is probably the first thing I do. And then from there, it just depends, like I said, on the time of year and what the markets are doing. If the markets are up a bunch that day, it's going to be in the office and you're going to be on the phone all day long.
Okay.
Phone calls coming in, people wanting to sell, or calling guys saying, hey, markets are really up. We maybe need to start taking some look at things. If it's a slower day, you're maybe getting, which would be called an offers, saying if the price gets up to this level, we're going to sell some grain here. Mm-hmm. So just calling guys and saying, hey, we might be making, what should we put in for offers? In the wintertime, I try and do a lot more marketing visits, getting out, meeting guys face to face.
Okay.
We have a program that I use quite a bit. It's a really simple program. It's just an averaging program. It's historically in that late spring, early summer, till about 4th of July, usually the markets are putting in their highs. So we just average that time frame, and that's the price the farmer gets. So work on getting guys signed up for that. And then also, like I said, putting those offers in, what targets we want to be selling grain at, and looking at things like that.
Very cool. So you said when the markets are up, right? I always like the terminology that goes along with this, right? So if you're visiting with these farmers, right, is that what they usually say to you? I want to know specifically the word that they're using, because I find that interesting, right? The markets are up. Are they saying things are doing really well today? Or, hey, what is the word? What's the industry swag word?
So bullish is what's that called. So if you think the markets are going to go higher, they're really on a run, you'd say they're really bullish.
Bullish. And this is what the old farmer guys are saying to you on the phone?
Yeah, that's the grain industry slang.
That's the grain industry slang.
Similar to even the stock market.
Stock market.
Yep, stock market.
Are you bullish or bearish?
Bullish. Yep.
Is there anything else that's kind of industry specific where they might have another term for that?
Not too much.
Not really.
Grain, that would probably be the main thing.
So what if it's going the other way? Are they talking just about bear, or do you not hear that?
Being bearish, yeah. And everybody always wants the prices to go higher. I mean, it's obviously what's best for the farmer. I mean, to a certain extent, I guess, but we want higher prices, so try and be bullish when we can, but you got to be realistic too.
Sure. So you make it to the kitchen table. You're sitting down with a farmer. Typical meeting, we're in for 2 hours.
I'd say an hour.
An hour?
Usually, and like I said, it's different for everybody. We're not market advisors. I'm not going out there and telling them, we need to sell at this price. You're kind of feeling them out and just kind of helping them through it.
Sure. And you had kind of a fun analogy that you used one time with us. Explain the analogy to us.
So it's like you guys called it the grain caddy, but so it's like you're their golf caddy. Farmer kind of tells you, hey, I think the market's going to do this, or, how do I capitalize on that? And so it's like you're their golf caddy. You can say, hey, I think you should use this club. We're this far away from the pin, but they've got to ultimately decide what club to use, and they've got to go make that shot.
That's way cool. And so you get to be a part of that conversation, kind of leading it, and then also on the receiving side of how do we help you by implementing a lot of this.
Right.
Way cool.
Right.
So that's what's happening on a day-to-day basis.
Yep.
Right. Most of the time. The highlight of the job for you personally is?
I like the kind of like I said, the summer runs, and I mean it can happen any day, but is the really busy days when it's like the phone. As soon as you hang up the one line, you're either calling the guy back that you missed his call while you're on the phone, or the next one's right there.
Yeah.
So that kind of ties into, I guess, the bad part is that it's very feast or famine. Is there's some days where I'm sitting there like, boy, I don't know what I'm doing. The markets are way down, everybody's checked out.
Yeah.
And then you get an up day and I could have 3 of myself and there won't be enough of us, So those are the fun days.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Any questions?
What are people and farmers thinking right now? Are they bearish or bullish looking at the future?
So and this is something that's tough, is kind of your backdoor analogy, is we're seeing, here locally things look fairly well, but Minnesota, the Dakotas, the upper Midwest, the spots that most guys are seeing are looking a little tougher this year. So they want to be bullish. Like I said, everybody wants prices to go higher, but things in the East are looking really good right now. They've been getting some nice rains, good crop conditions down there. So it's kind of a balancing act, I guess. But so we'll see. And then historically, this is usually the time of year when prices do pull back. But, every year is different and always a surprise. Very
cool. And if somebody wanted to get in contact with you and do a little business, how would they do that?
They can either get on our website or else, all of our numbers will be on there. So we're kind of split up. There's 4 marketers at Crystal Valley, so kind of split up by regions, so you can see what region you're in and give us a call.
And if you want to visit with the number 1 marketer, just go ahead and give Kyle a quick call, and he'll hook you up and help you out. So thank you so much for spending a little time with us, and we'll see you back here sooner rather than later.